This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert. Alert. This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert. Alert. This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert. Alert. This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert. Alert. This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert. Alert. This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
That's right. We're here for an emergency little session because we got two pieces of news I think need to be talked about right now. Right now here at 7:34 a.m. my time. That's 8, 9, 10 at 3, 10:34 a.m. Eastern. And we got Deshaun Watson and Deebo Samuel news. First and foremost, Deebo Samuel potentially reporting to 49er minicamp. That's great news. There's a lot of talk and rumblings about would he show, would he not show. Of course he's going to show. He's going to get fined upwards of $90K to miss the initial part of the camp. There's no way this man's going to sit out and lose money when he's worried about making just the $4 million this year. Deebo Samuel's showing up. Deebo Samuel's probably going to accept whatever deal the Niners lay at his feet when the Niners decide to finally stop dragging their feet and offer the man a contract extension that he deserves, that he earned. He put his heart and soul on the line all season last year, playing two positions, saying, hey, I don't need more money. I'll play running back and wide receiver and I'll do it in advance. Here's an IOU, a blank IOU. Give it to me later. And the Niners have yet to step up and pay him in unorthodox fashion outside of the realms of the Niners' normal payment process, like we extend guys in August. Who cares what you normally do? Deebo Samuel and wide receivers typically don't play running back. They should have taken care of this in the beginning. The Niners are at fault here. I know a lot of people blame Deebo and call him a diva and say he's doing this and that. He's doing what every other player does when they're entering the final year of their deal, and they deserved and earned an extra little baggie. And this guy deserves the bag, okay? So the Niners are dropping the ball here. This turmoil, everything that's been created has been, in my opinion, created by the organization because they decided not to sign this man in early, unorthodox fashion, stepping outside of the box and the realms of the normal process. I think the Niners dropped the ball here, and they let this thing get very, very vicious, and the fan base attacked Deebo, and now there's this divide. Hopefully it all comes to an end today. Hopefully Deebo gets in and looks good, and the fan base starts, saying this and that, and everybody comes together. Trey Lance season's about to be just absolutely unleashed, and I can't wait for Trey Lance to drop a top 5 to 7 fantasy football and NFL quarterback season on everyone's laps, because it's going to happen, and it's going to happen live. So get ready. Deebo Samuel, buckle up, giddy up. This man is reporting to minicamp. More to come on this later on the 7 p.m. show. As for Deshaun Watson, Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio believes the Browns could void Deshaun Watson's contract if suspended for conduct related to the latest allegations against him. So here's the tricky part about this whole story here is there's a lot of unknowns, okay? Mike Florio, I believe, is a former attorney, so he does have some legal ability to speak to this, but there's a lot that could go on here. First of all, the NFL is looking at potentially suspending Deshaun Watson for violating the league's personal conduct policy. And if you read what's being said here, that Watson's contract could potentially be voided if he's suspended for conduct related to the latest allegations. So the latest allegations are 2 new cases that have been brought against Deshaun Watson. 2 brand new ones. If you remember correctly, the chronological order, there have been 22 cases in civil. There were 10, 11, maybe a few more being looked at for the criminal side. The grand jury, the DA, no charges were brought against Deshaun Watson from a criminal perspective. But the civil track is still wide open. There are 22 cases. The NFL was interviewing each of the potential victims in the 22 cases. And then the final step after doing so was to interview and talk to Deshaun Watson and then come to a determination whether Deshaun Watson would miss time in 2022. Fully expecting him to miss 6 to 8 to 10 games based on just this little piece of it where the NFL looks at it, interviews the potential victims, talks to Deshaun Watson, looks at the personal conduct policy, not the guilty or innocence or conclusion of the 22 cases. That could add on a whole new dynamic and level of discipline for Deshaun Watson. We're talking seriously about just compartmentalizing this into a personal conduct violation. And that alone might have Deshaun Watson missing 6 to 10 games, just violating the personal conduct policy as it relates to all these situations that this man participated in and initiated through the, hey, come here, come do this and sign this non-disclosure agreement for you, 22 cases being brought against him. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent. The man is innocent until proven guilty to the letter of the law in a court of law. But what we're talking about here is the NFL looking with a magnifying glass saying, did you violate the league's personal conduct policy by putting the NFL, yourself, your team, and everybody around you in this situation? You doing what you did 22 times, now 24. Did this violate the NFL's league personal conduct policy? That's what's being looked at. Now, I firmly believe whatever determination the NFL makes, it will not be just cut and dry. It's black and white. Here's what it is. It is what it is. It's going to be pending the outcome of the 24 cases that are going on. So we have a innocent till proven guilty situation for sure. But that is going to lead to a potential further discipline and suspension for Deshaun Watson if it goes down a road where he gets convicted or loses 24 cases, whatever the case may be. These 2 new civil cases coming and being brought against Deshaun Watson, the 22 turning to 24, those could potentially open the door to another look-see at the criminal side of this, because the DA could look into this and say, hey, these are 2 new cases. It's not a class action. It's consolidated, meaning paperwork and speed-wise. The one attorney's trying to go through this quickly and get all these things in order, ducks in a row, if you will. But this is not this is a consolidated case, not a actual class action. So every single one of these cases is individual. That means the evidence is different. That means that if a new case pops up in civil, just like the 2 did, the DA would look at it to see if there's new evidence they feel, not Watson's camp, not the other camp. The DA independently is going to look at it and say, do we feel, the DA, that we need to look at this to see if there are criminal charges that need to be brought forward against Deshaun Watson, a grand jury? Is there enough evidence to indict him and move forward to see if maybe he's innocent or guilty of criminal charges on the 2 new cases? Now, I know the 2 new cases probably logic would tell you are going to follow the track of the other 22 cases or 10 or 11 that potentially were going to go criminal and be looked at for criminal. It's logical, but not a certainty to say, well, if the other 11 didn't make it, is this attorney finding new evidence? Is there more evidence to explore that's going to make it to where the grand jury will want to move forward on the 2 new cases? So people need to calm down. A lot of people don't know what they're talking about with this case. We've had Tony the Tiger attorney on. We broke this down better than anybody because we have a good grasp of what's going on, but we still don't know exactly what's going on because it's that complicated. The commissioner exemplis, can you use the exemplis? Can you not when there's no criminal involved? We've heard different stories and different explanations on that, and truly no one, I guess, knows unless we get somebody in here that can break it down. And even then, if we get another attorney in here to break it down, there's still some argument back and forth whether the NFL could actually use the commissioner exemplis for violating the league's personal conduct policy, even if there's no criminal involved, because as we understood it, the NFL, the collective bargaining agreement, everybody negotiated so that the commissioner exemplis couldn't be used in a civil situation. You're going to be sued civilly. Guess what? No longer can Goodell take you and place you and put you on the commissioner exemplis, but apparently we're hearing that might be different, and depending on the case-by-case basis or what kind of personal conduct policy violation we're looking at. So we don't fully know if the NFL can commissioner exemplis Deshaun Watson for this, because it was thought up until a couple months ago that they couldn't because it was civil, not criminal. But things could have changed. There could be some kind of loophole. There could be some kind of small fine print we're not aware of that someone's going to break down later on for us. But we're looking at right now Deshaun Watson potentially with this situation maybe getting a voided contract if, let's say, the NFL says you're out for a full year or you're out indefinitely without any kind of, I don't know what the NFL is going to say on this. You're out indefinitely and you're not going to play this season, and then we look at it next year. The Browns might be like, look, we need to move on with our money. We need to build around something else. This is going to be one of the biggest debacles in the history of contract extension and trades and all that if the Browns end up voiding this before it even gets started. So we'll see what happens. It's very, very early on in this part of the process to try and predict whether the Browns have legal recourse to void his contract if Deshaun Watson, let's say, does get the entire year with a dangling, we don't know what's going to happen in 2023, which very much could be the case for the NFL. And the NFL warned the Browns. They said, hey, before you make this $230 million guaranteed contract offer, Mr. Owner of the Browns, this is a situation where you certainly are going to be playing with fire because we haven't even made our determination yet. So the Browns go ahead and make this contract offer. Everybody thinks because the deal got done and because the deal was open to get done because the criminal got shut down, and then everybody thought, oh, this is going in a different direction. We don't know if it's going in a different direction. It feels very much like it's going back the other direction, and we just don't know or have any details on what the NFL is going to do. What we do know is the NFL looked at this. They were interviewing all 22 individuals. They were finally going to the final phase of interviewing Deshaun Watson. It felt like he was going to get a 4, 6, maybe 8-game suspension, but this thing was coming not to a close, but to a crawl, and we were going to maybe see some kind of potential suspension later on if the cases didn't work out. But the NFL was going to come to a determination. These 2 brand new cases threw a monkey wrench in the entire thing. And these 2 new cases, even though they're civil, there's still the criminal potential if the DA sees fit to look at it. They might look at it and shoot it down again, but this has created a whole new can of worms that I don't think Deshaun Watson's camp or Deshaun Watson's attorney or the Browns or anybody defending Watson can really spin anymore. Because now with 2 additional claims against him, you have a bunch of unknown. A bunch of unknown that's going to make the NFL uneasy, sponsors and advertisers uneasy, the same sponsors and advertisers that jumped. Nike, Beats by Dre, I believe some others, jumped from Deshaun Watson's camp the moment this stuff came out. They dropped him immediately. And that's how sponsors and advertisers can and will and sometimes react when these situations arise. And so Deshaun Watson's not looking like he's in a good position right now. And so I want to come on and update the fact that there's being talk about his contract being voided if he does see a suspension, especially if it's like the season and then this pending maybe in 2023. We don't know. The Browns are going to want to move on from that. And this is horrible. I don't know how the Browns come back from this. I don't know what happens in terms of the trade, and I don't know that there's anything that can be done as far as the trade because the Browns knew they understood the assignment, or at least they thought they understood the assignment. So I don't think anything gets reversed at all to my knowledge, and if anybody has any different knowledge on this, but the Browns got absolutely annihilated in this trade if it ends up playing out to where they gave up all this draft capital. And yeah, they might save on the contract if it does go that route. We're jumping the gun a little bit by talking about this, but the report came out from Pro Football Talk, so we got to address it, right? I'm not saying that it's time to address it. I'm not saying we have all the facts. I'm not saying it's even responsible to start predicting off of this stuff yet. But when news breaks, I got to get on here and I've got to talk about it. So I'm here to discuss that with you. 40 to 60 of you jumping in and out. Please hit the thumbs up on your way in the building. I'll be back at the 7 p.m. show. I'm gonna hit the comments right now. See what you guys are thinking in the comments, and then we'll definitely be back for the 7 p.m. show. If not sooner, if more news doesn't break. Swaggy was first in the building. 4X was second. Jose, early broadcast, Smitty, absolutely. Master Yoda, what's up? Joey, yes, we are back. Nev, Sean, Gordo, appreciate all of you being in here. Sean, everybody, James, yes, Nevin, we do it live when there's breaking news, pal. What's up, Derek Lincoln in the house? Appreciate every single one of you. What do you guys think? And what are your predictions? On screen, let's put the Deshaun Watson let's put he's out for the year on this side. He's out for a handful of games, or he misses no time. Drop your vote, and I'll drop your votes on the screen. So we'll put let me put some labels up here. So we'll say out for a year, out for a season. So we'll put the votes for out for the season right here. Out for let's say a small amount of time. Out for half a season or so, or less. Half a season or less, and then people that think he doesn't get suspended at all, drop those as well. So let's throw these votes up and see what you guys think. Jose says out for the season. 4X says misses no time. I'm going to put yours right over here. Wow. No time at all, huh, broski? I mean, hey, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking for you guys to give me your predictions. So let me put that label up because I didn't think we'd have somebody jump out right away and say, misses no time. Okay, so 4X is going to drop his right there. Smitty's show gets better and better every single episode, says John. John, I appreciate you. Oh, man, I just missed. I took out Jose's vote. Where's Jose's vote? Out for the season. Here we go. Misses no time, 4X. Drop your vote. Let me know what you think. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Lance. Appreciate all you do, pal. I vote for half the season or less. Okay, there's a vote here. Season plus for Hoovy. I think Watson will be suspended for the year and placed on the commissioner exempt list. So we got 2 votes over here. Nev says out for the season. 10 games. So we're talking about you're more of a out for the season than half a season or less vote, I think. Jeb says 6 to 10 games. We're gonna put you at the half season mark. No time this year, says Jeremy. 8 games indefinitely. We're gonna put you at half a season with that number. Joseph says out for the year. I'm gonna put your vote over here. What's up, podcast? Appreciate you being here. 9 games and returns after the bye, so we'll put you around half the season because that's about. Scooby's got half a season. 1 game per individual, so you're talking about way over a full season. 6 game suspension or more, we'll put you for half of a season. What is this talk of Watson's contract being good? So basically we're just saying that Mike Florio and I believe NBC Sports, you could say, is talking about how his contract could be void legally if there is a suspension that results from the latest allegation. So I think if I had to break this down and try and guess what this means, I believe Florio is probably saying that these 22 cases were known. These 2, like in the contract, it sounds to me in the contract what probably says something about anything new, any new cases that derive that aren't related to the 22 are going to be looked at as voidable situations is what I'm gathering. Okay, so that's probably what Mike Florio is talking about. In the contract, there's probably something that says 22 cases are known. We get that. If there's a 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, if there's any cases beyond the 22, we're going to look at these cases differently and make his contract voidable if he gets suspended. If they can tie any piece of the suspension to a new case that isn't within the confines of the 22, maybe there's a voidable situation. That's my guess. We don't have the contract in front of us, but that is probably something that we're looking at where it's relating to new cases, and there are 2 new cases. And yeah, they're civil, but they still could go criminal if the DA decides to go that route and there's enough evidence. Here is the one thing I will say. Are we not innocent until proven guilty? There are allegations. Yeah, Whiplash, we somebody says this once or 5 times an episode when we bring this up. We are in a society, thank God, Whiplash, where you are innocent until proven guilty. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the league's personal conduct policy currently. And then that can change and turn into something more. So meaning that the league's looking at this, Deshaun Watson. It's not about he didn't do anything wrong, Whiplash. He did a lot wrong. And he admits to doing a lot wrong. He admits to doing a lot wrong and putting the NFL in a really, really bad situation. Whiplash, would you say, and if your answer is no, I imagine, and I don't fault you, but I imagine you're just a dynasty owner that's trying to defend the shares that you have. But can you honestly say what he did wasn't wrong? Like not that the allegations about how things went down weren't, he's defending that, obviously, innocent until proven guilty. But he's admitting that he put a lot of people in very uncomfortable positions. He's admitted these things. And so the NFL has said, you put us in a very, very bad light. And that's what Whiplash, what's being looked at right now. Nothing else is being looked at right now, other than the personal conduct policy being violated. We're not talking about innocence or guilt or winning the cases or settling the cases or fighting them and winning them, fighting them and losing them. That's going to open the door to a brand new, completely new part of the discipline process. No, not at all. He is obviously 100% at fault. So so when you say innocent until proven guilty, agreed. I think everybody in here, thanks God we live in a country where you are innocent to the letter of the law until proven guilty. So on the hardcore allegations that are being thrown at him, absolutely. But the NFL saying, you embarrassed us, yes, John, you embarrassed us, the NFL, by organizing these events that you organized, having these people sign non-disclosures and having mix-ups to where certain things happen that shouldn't have happened, according to Deshaun Watson, but this was consensual here. This was, whatever. We don't need to get into the details. If you haven't read the details, especially of the 2 new claims, you need to read them, because if the things that happened in the claims are even remotely true or brush up against the lines of being true or being kind of cloudy, it's absolutely sickening when you read the actual claims against him. So not saying he's not innocent until proven guilty. Of course he is. But this is about something different currently, and it will turn into the innocent until proven guilty stuff for the longer term punishment. But the NFL is going to crack down on this and say, look, sorry, Deshaun, you should not have put yourself in this situation. What sounds like way more than 24 times, but right now we're looking at 24 cases where you set these situations up and admitted doing a lot of uncomfortable things, but they were consensual uncomfortable things is what Deshaun's trying to fight. NFL's not going to say, "Oh, okay, let's innocent till proven guilty. Let's see what happens." They're like, "You shouldn't have done this, Deshaun. You shouldn't have done this." Yeah, there probably is a lot of smoke, John. There probably is a lot of smoke. There probably is a lot of people just looking to get a quick money grab. Absolutely. But the NFL's not looking at that. What the NFL's looking at right now is whether he put the NFL in bad light, and he most certainly did. Because I think people that just think the whole thing's being made up don't understand the assignment here. The assignment is trying to decipher what is true, what's not true, but it's also the fact that a lot of this is absolutely true. It's just at certain points during the accusations or the claims, Deshaun Watson saying, okay, yes, I did set this up. Yes, I did have them sign non-disclosure. Yes, I did do that very uncomfortable, unthinkable, unspeakable act. Yes, I did do that. But this was okay because they said yes to this. This is okay because they were good with this. Hey, they signed this non-disclosure here. They were okay with this. That's what's being talked about. It's a very much, this stuff is very known that it happened. It's just how the story's being told. The NFL's not going to be like, okay, the way you tell the story, Deshaun's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So it's the fact that there's 24 of these situations, the NFL's not having it. The NFL's not having it. Deshaun Watson, in my opinion, I think the people saying half a season or less, very optimistic of you. I think you might own Deshaun Watson in several leagues. This crew right here, I think, is a little bit more realistic. I don't know that he's missing no time. 4X probably owns him in like 18 leagues, maybe 24 leagues. I don't know, 4X, what you're thinking here, but I think there's no way he's missing no time. Who was the other person that said? And it's okay if you had that, but Jeremy said no time. He's missing time, guys. He's missing time. Money grab or not, he's missing time. He's missing time because money grab, Jeremy. Even if it's a money grab, he still did something the NFL's gonna suspend him for. Jeremy, whether the allegations are wrong or not, he's still getting suspended for setting up 24 plus of these situations, bro. The NFL's gonna be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why'd you do this, Deshaun? So we'll be back for the 7 p.m. show or earlier, depending on the news and what breaks and what goes on. But appreciate everybody being here. Subscribe if you're new. Punch that thumbs up button on the way out the door. Your boy Smitty is live anytime there is breaking news. Anytime there's breaking news, I go live and I break it down. So think of me anytime something breaks and you're like, hey, I wonder who's talking about this right now. I wonder, is there a show out there that literally is catering to me? When something breaks, I want to hear about it. I want to hear it broken down. Even if the news needs to be shot down. Even if it's fake news. If it's big enough news that's being cycled all around the world and are all over the internet, your boy Smitty's here to help break it down. Even if I don't have all the answers or really truly know what I feel yet, or I'm digesting things, or it's fake, I will come on, shoot it down, talk about it, break it down. I'm here for you. I work for you. I'll be back at 7 p.m. because we're live at 7 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. And I always respond to every comment, 99.99% of them, on my channel. So ask me a question in the comments of this video. Heinz dropped a super chat here. Let me pause this timer here so we don't exit. Let me respond to this real quick. Just got to have a backup plan. I do think 6 to 8 weeks. I traded Fields for Watson, but I also have Mitchell and Brissett plus Rodgers. I don't know if that's a super flex, Heinz, but if you have Rodgers and Watson and then you've got this backup plan for your super flex position, you sound like you're in decent position, but I think, 6 to 8 weeks minimum is what you're looking at. You could be looking at him being out the entire season. You could be looking at, if there's a suspension, being tied to these two new cases, the Browns getting out of their contract. And I don't think they get out of the trade. And that's going to be the worst trade in the history of the NFL, to trade a player, to try and get out of a contract before the player's even played one game. And yet you traded all that draft capital. This will be the end of the Browns for the next 10, 15 years if that ends up being the case. But 6 to 8 weeks minimum for just violating the personal conduct policy, Heinz. If this gets out of hand even more because he loses cases, then you're talking about way more than 6 to 8 games. So we'll see. I appreciate your super chat, Heinz. I appreciate everybody in here. Thank you for dropping that super chat, good buddy. I will see you all at 7 p.m. or sooner. Drop a comment, drop a like, follow if you're new.